Welcome back, everyone.
What's
What
going
a
on?
race. What a race. What a race. What a race.
Yeah,
Woo.
man. It was
Um,
interesting for sure.
it was interesting for sure. Enjoyed that a lot. So, starting off, race results. Kimi's
Yeah.
victory. Let's do it. Let's just throw it out there. Kimi's victory.
What up, Ray?
Hey, Ray.
Hey, what's going
What's
on?
up? What's going on?
Not much.
Kimmy's.
So,
Go ahead.
no. I was saying Kimi's victory. I was going to throw it to you, Simon.
Yeah.
Kimi's
No.
victory.
It was good to see him choked up a little bit, winning the race, becoming the second youngest driver to win a Formula One race. I think Max Verstappen is the youngest at 18 and 7 months. So you know, it's going to be an interesting year
Yeah.
with Mercedes having a 1-2 punch right now. Russell winning last week and Kimi winning this week. Congratulations to him. He deserved it. A little battle between him and Lewis in the beginning, and Russell at the start, right? So yeah, it's good to see that we won't. Our predictions at the end of each of these episodes are going to get very difficult right now, based on we don't know who's going to win, but we'll see what happens next week.
Ray, thoughts on Kimi's victory?
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He did all right. He had a car that's under him that that was good, and he used his ability and used the ability of the car to come home first. So I would say I'm happy for him. He was and it's good for Italy, right? He set a record with that. I can't remember the exact how many years since an Italian driver won a race. So, I think he should be on cloud nine for now. You know what I'm saying? So he's yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he's definitely on cloud nine. He teared up a little bit after it. I
Yeah,
mean, rightly so. I understand.
yeah, people got to get used to that stuff, man, because they were bashing him the last time when the guy is emotional, right? So he just it's a moment that he, as he said, right, they helped him to get one of his dreams, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of drivers don't get that opportunity. So
Yeah.
People got to give him slack, and that's how he operates. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not just drivers though. I mean, a lot of people don't get a chance to live out their dreams. So when you do get to that point and that pinnacle of scratching off one of your dreams, it can be emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And scratching off a dream that you are good at as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can dream to want to do something, but you just don't have that natural ability, and you just the work ethic could be there, and you just can't get the the top level results. But I'll say this for him: I was very happy for him to see that he does have to work on his race starts, because he was trying to cover George, which rightly so, but he covered him a little bit too much, and it gave Lewis. You cannot give Lewis in a car that he likes any room. He came right up on the outside and followed right behind by Charles. So, but anyway, we'll
you can't give anybody in a Ferrari any room. Charles ain't joking around either.
well, yeah, this year in particular, but yes, Charles last year and this year in particular, both of them. Happy to see Lewis there. But before we get into that, George, poor George, I think he had what it takes to win, but it just didn't work out for him in this one. And I'm curious to see how that, I'm sure he was happy for Kimi. Everybody's nice. But if Kimi really keeps this wick turned up as it is now off of this race, and he's really becomes a thorn in George's side, I'm curious to see how that relationship is going to unfold as the season progresses. But anyway, Ray, your thoughts on George coming in second and the drive he put in?
Yeah, he threw Kimi a bone. You know what I'm saying? I think so. As you said, he's no threat at this point, and it made him happy. So as you say again, if he keeps winning now, then we got a little problem, right? Because still you saw the inexperience that I'll take it back, because I think one of the McLaren guys did that last year also. He covered too hard and opened up the door for somebody else. So he will learn from there. But I think George threw him a bone.
I think he earned it. I don't think he got a bone thrown to him. But that's my opinion.
I think that when George got back there to be behind him, right? I think George could have pushed harder, right? And I just figured George is like, you know what, whatever. It's a race. Let him get it. That's it.
I disagree a little bit.
Me too.
A little bit, Ray. Not a lot. I disagree in the part where I believe whoever is more successful in qualifying right now is primed to win the race. Right. So if George comes in pole position and Kimi's behind him, I don't see Kimi passing George. And right now, unless Kimi makes a mistake, I don't see George passing Kimi. The two cars are running almost identical in the sense of performance, right? So whoever has the pole position, whoever's in front, it's going to be very difficult to pass. I think George has a little bit more skill and more experience to possibly make Kimi make a mistake and get a chance to pass him. But yeah, I think he earned this one. I think George had to wrestle with Ferrari and kind of gave Kimi some space. And that's all he really needed. I mean, he was probably coasting at the end of the race, and then that's why he fell asleep and almost messed up pretty bad. But yeah, I think the cars are equally matched at this point.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm not inferring that either one of you are saying it, but I'm going to give George. George is a skilled driver. Mm-hmm. He's not giving anything away, right? Because a world championship can be lost if you do that, right? So maximum points are available to you. Maximum points is what they want, and so I'm just saying it that way. But yeah, I think perhaps at some point they probably dialed it back, and he was just like, all right, I'm not gonna, because Kimi was down the road from him. He'd really have to really be pushing really, really, really hard to try and catch up to him.
Exactly.
To try and battle him for it. But so he may have.
But he's shown that he can do that. So that's why I say Kimi just threw him a bone. He got there and he's like, all right, I'll throw him a bone, let him go. But that's it.
But
yeah, I just feel with these 22 drivers, I don't care how old you are, the competitiveness comes out. And also when it comes to a teammate, it comes out even more, right? So throwing the bone in the last 10 laps, maybe, but not in the beginning.
Yeah. It's as they say, George would be the elder statesman of Mercedes, right? And you can't throw the young pup bones. And then what happens is that young pup gets the confidence and starts to really challenge you. Then all of a sudden they're talking about you about, well, I don't know. He used to have it. We heard all of that last year. Anyway.
Can I chime in on that?
All right.
I said a bone. Right? I'm not going to say he's going to throw him bones, right? I just said a bone. It's no skin off George's nose for, second, from being second and even first. George knows he's going to walk it the next time. So it's a bone. All right. Just to be clear.
Okay. So, I mean, George put in a great drive, and Mercedes, of course, after last year and the year before that, the car that they had to now finally have the car that they produced that's the class of the field, hey, hats off to them. So I want to get into the Ferrari team now. And I have to say, I enjoyed that. Whether it is make believe passing or what have you, based on the new rules and regs. Wow. Hats off to both of them, to Charles and Lewis, because it was aggressive but clean. And they never touched. Simon,
man. We have to go to Ray first, bro.
Ray, we're passing the ball to you. You have the mic.
All right, let me take this. Let me think about this for a second, and then I'm going to say this. It was entertaining, sure, right? Charles don't, when the helmet's on, Charles don't care for Lewis. I don't know. Lewis may care a little bit or I don't care for him. But anyway, I want to address this for one. For all those people that keep saying last year, did he lose it? Get off the dude's back. All right. If you give him a car that he wants to drive, we see that he drives it. Right. And the same thing go for the guy in Aston Martin. Alonso.
Alonso.
Yeah. Listen, regardless of this age crap, these dudes, they will drive if you give them the wheel to drive, right? So Lewis showed that he wanted to go exercise and get into the top 3, if not win the race, possibly. Well, he wanted to win the race. And so that's what he did. Nobody can really touch the Mercedes cars, right? And so, Charles was like, hey, he didn't really care. He doesn't really care too much for Lewis on track. So he's competing against his, first competitor, his teammate. So yeah, we got to see some passing, even there and in the field itself. We saw some passing from the new technology that they've thrown out there. And Lewis was able to handle it better in a sense than Charles was. So he was able to, get on the podium to break that streak that they put on his back last year to be the first ever Ferrari driver not to win a podium driving for him. So, and I got nervous a couple of times. Lewis came on the radio and said, hey, I have no power, right? So again, I'm very happy for Lewis. I'm happy for those people that they can go shut up and take their little opinions and go lock it in the closet and leave him alone. And the same thing for Alonso is just, they are drivers. Give them what they need, they will drive.
Well, I'll say this. When I heard that Lewis's radio, I have no power, I thought of you, Ray. I said, oh, Ray is going to say Ferrari sabotages his power unit. So he doesn't have enough power. But anyway, I'm joking.
I stepped back because he got on the podium. All right. I'm trying to compromise here. Okay, right. For now.
Okay. Yeah. Simon?
Well, the thing I was waiting to hear on both sides, Charles and Lewis, was they were having fun and it was clean, right? And I did hear that. So I was excited to hear that they both were competing. And I am hoping Ferrari has told them, overtake, race. Just as long as it's clean, overtake and race. Iron sharpens iron. And there's going to be a time when they're going to have to compete against Mercedes. They're going to get the car right, because the car is just a little bit off, right? It's not Mercedes has them on the straights, but as you can see, Ferrari has them on the turns and the curves, right? On the corners, right? And at the start. So that means they have grip. They have more grip than Mercedes, right? So I don't know if it's going to be a power unit tweak or if it's going to be an aerodynamics tweak, right? But what they don't want to do is lose that grip.
Yeah.
So they don't want to tweak it too much. I think right now they're about 20 miles per hour slower than Mercedes. If they can get it down to 10, they'll be able to pass and stay ahead of Mercedes, right? So I'm glad that they're racing and getting prepared for the long season, right?
Yeah. What they need that extra power to pull away, and that's the same. That's what you see, like with Charles and Lewis.
They can pull away in the turns as well.
Yes, but you need to pull away on the straights as well. You can have them in the turns, but that just means if you only have them on the turns, then you're going to be locked in a battle. But depending on the track, if it's more straights, the Mercedes is going to pull out and lengthen that distance by the time you get to the turn, so they won't be able to catch them. So yeah, Ferrari is close. They just need to work on that. And I saw in the post-race interview, Lewis mentioned that cars are, I'll use the word better, as in regard to being able to follow the car in front of you. They're not as sensitive to the wake coming off of the car in front, which would prevent them from being able to close up and try to attack. They're able to attack with these cars better than they have. As he said it, paraphrasing, better than he's ever been able to before in past seasons. So I thought that was interesting to hear, coming from him. So yeah, I'm curious, but George also mentioned that they do have some developments coming. So that's where this could be a spread, because if the Ferrari package isn't as good as it needs to be and Mercedes is, they're just going to pull away even further from them. But anyway, anything else about the Lewis and Charles? One last thing. I'm sorry. Simon, you mentioned that you were glad to see that they were having fun. That wasn't how it was during the sprint race. Charles was upset. And I'll say this, during the sprint race, when I was watching it and Charles was behind Lewis at first, I said it to myself, okay, Let's see how long it takes before he starts to come in on the radio about pace and yada yada, right? Which to me, I feel a lot of the drivers, all of them pretty much, they bitch and moan about that too much. Pass the car. If you're faster than the car, get around the car. Why you always have to call into the pit wall to let them move up past them? But anyway, that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm sure that there are team meetings that already was hashed out on what you're going to do and what the situation is, and you got plan A, plan B, and plan C, and either you're racing or there's a team strategy to curb your enthusiasm if you're behind your teammate. To me, just pass him, just race like it's another car, right? And just to hear him on the radio sometimes, like, man, grown man, what's going on?
Yeah,
so, but you're forgetting the psychological aspect of it, right? Not only you want to pass him, but you want everybody else to know that he's slower than you, right? And that's the psychological part of the game. Well, the game, but the environment is to say you're setting that's setting the stage to say I'm faster than this dude, and to the point where the team has to tell him move over and let me go, right? So that's degrading him further.
You're right, because there is that aspect of the sport as well. I think in a team though, like Mercedes, Ferrari, and I'll say McLaren, right? Because Oscar is good, and Lando's good. It's harder sometimes, to as a fan to accept that. Now, let's say Aston Martin, Honda had their stuff together, and they gave Aston Martin an engine that they were up in the front. Yeah, Lance Stroll's in front of Fernando. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way and let him through, because Fernando will do more with it. Kind of thing. If you're in a team where you have a clear number one, right, and that number one is going to produce. Yeah, get out of the way. The number one is gonna radio and say, listen, get out. Move over, even if you're having a good race that day, because that might be that day, but in a team like Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, where arguably they have two number one drivers in there. Come on, man. Come on. Charles is world champion material. He is, and I know that's what he wants to get, but yeah, get out there and get your elbows out and do it. I enjoyed the battle they had, and they showed how skilled they are. So anyway,
before you drop off, I just want to put in a word for Lance. If it's wet, Lance is on his game. So it's got to be wet.
Fernando in the wet? When Fernando's got a car that's good? Nah. Listen, Aston Martin has one driver.
Wow, that's a very heavy statement.
Driver.
Okay.
I feel it.
And a trainer.
A trainer. A tester.
Wow.
Go test this. And that's what they used to do back in the day sometimes. They were like, oh, we're not too sure about it. Put it in the number 2 car. We'll see how it does. That's what happened. But anyway, we're moving on. So moving into the qualifying results. Simon, I'm going to throw to you. You take us in.
No, qualifying was interesting to see where the pecking order is. I think for the last 2 races now, I think I mentioned this on the preseason. Qualifying was going to tell me just where everyone is, as far as the car and the development of the car. And the race is going to tell me who has the better team strategy overall, right? Mm-hmm. And as you can see, it's Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bullish, and then Haas is in there a little bit too, and Red Bull Junior, I call them. But yeah, I mean, it really, for the last 2 races, we're seeing whose development of their cars are better and where they are from a qualifying standpoint. So it was interesting to see Kimi take it from Russell, and then win the race too, right? Yeah. So and then also Lewis being faster than Charles probably for the first time since last year. This time, right? Last year in China, he won the sprint race.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he out-qualified Charles on the sprint race.
No, he did. He won it from pole.
Okay,
he won it from pole, but then he faded after that.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. But yeah, no, okay, I agree. Ray, anything about qualifying?
Well, again, it comes back to another point I've raised before, right? That I think that F1, in pushing forward their technological bias, is kind of setting the drivers at a disadvantage, right? Because what this reminds me of is like what the tech people do, right? Is that they take it out to the audience to go figure out what's going on. So we're still, for this first part of the season, we're seeing, good drivers suffer because the technology from their team is not there, right? So, that's a little sad to see. But at the same time, we'll see, 5 races in, we'll see where we are at that point, because they'll get more time to get on top of this stuff and to make sure their stuff's a little bit more reliable. But, or what they'll do is, I believe it was Esteban Ocon said that, I forgot, everybody's now planning that, a certain amount of laps in the race, the Aston Martin's going to die, so there's going to be a safety car. So they're taking that into their strategy.
Wow, that's bad.
So
wow.
yeah, so
wow.
we'll see. But it's a shame. I understand the premise, but it's still a shame to see that the technology that they've levied is so wide in interpretation that you can't get more than maybe we have 4. Was it 4 teams? Maybe that might be there. 2 that's kind of close together, and then the third is kind of still working its way out, which is McLaren, and then Red Bull is going to be there, right? So it would be nice if they were a little bit more not as technologically oriented, so that we could get some more of the driving out. But it was still fun for those that were driving. I still said that was fun to watch them on the race, passing each other back and forth. And that's what really needs to come into the program, I believe, to further entice people to be part of it.
Well, I think in that regard, it's here. This is the first season in a long time that you have seen that, and not just at the front, that you're seeing it in the midfield as well. And we got a comment on one of the shorts we did, in that the person was saying that the sport's been damaged by these new rules, and I'm still tossing that around in my head, but I kind of push back on it a little, because in the past, what it used to be is you'd have one car, whichever team got it right. We've seen Mercedes do it. We've seen Red Bull do it. Years before that, we saw Ferrari do it. They would disappear, to use the words of the person, over the horizon. And that's true. And you see elements of that now still with Mercedes, but it's not as blatant. There's, if Ferrari, like Simon said, really comes, gets it together, they could be right there with them, because they're very close. So I think this is one of the first seasons ever since, Lewis and Max were battling as well. And then where's 2 different teams.
Vettel, Lewis and Vettel.
And Vettel were battling, right? Where's 2 different teams, But anyway, I think they're trying something, and you have to try, and as far as the technology side of it is, I guess it's kind of like an engineering, I don't want to say experiment, but an exercise, right? Okay.
It's an experiment.
Okay. How good am I compared to you and Simon at interpreting whatever, this is the parameters. How good am I? That's what F1 has always been. Those that are really good and say, oh, they didn't really talk about this, so let's try this. And then,
and that's what I was kind of alluding to when I said how Ferrari is close. They have the better grip, and you can see that at starts, at the start of each race or the start of a new safety car. They're able to get the power down a lot quicker than most in the field, but they don't have the straight line speed, right? Yeah. So now with the new technologies, how do you compromise that and not lose the grip, but yet get the straight line speed? I don't know if there's power, but I don't know if it's aerodynamics. It's going to be a mixture of both, right? Because you saw how Mercedes struggled when they put on those hard tires. Man, if Kimi wasn't in front, I think it would have been a Ferrari finish, 1-2.
Right. They would get them. Yeah, because it also makes you wonder with Mercedes, is it that variable compression ratio thing they have, that's, they got it right. They got it in there, and it's helping them. But anyway, okay. So moving into McLaren and Red Bull's issues. All right, Simon, I'm going to throw it back to you too.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that they couldn't start the race.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2 races now that Piastri really didn't get any points. He has 3 points, but in the sprint race, right? And if it wasn't for the sprint race, he'll have 0.
Yep.
Lando has 15, and that's because of last week and then the sprint race. So, wow, to see the incumbents of winning the championship last year struggling like this, and Red Bull, they're both having issues, right? So, to the point where Haas, Oliver Berman came in 5th today.
Yeah.
5th.
Yeah.
Right? So Haas is up there in points, even though his Esteban Ocon has 0 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Oliver Berman is making Esteban look pretty bad. But yeah, McLaren and Red Bull are struggling. I'll be interesting to see what's going to happen on the 3rd and 4th race to see if they get it together and get some more points on the board.
Yeah. Ray?
As I said, I think the 5th race is where things are going to start leveling out, and we should see what comes down of the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. They're still working out the little gremlins. I could put on my conspiracy hat and said, they gave Oscar the number 2 car, as you referred to it, with all the test equipment. So, that even when he went off on the first one by just hitting the throttle, there wasn't any, distribution of power. It just went to the wheel that had and turned him around. So, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just saying, but I think, it's going to be hard, I think, for Oscar to come back. But again, it depends. The season is still fresh. It's new. And I think, McLaren is, they're going to work on it. Again, Mercedes is not giving him all the secrets. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of that one time I was in that little amateur thing where the car was supported by a manufacturer, right? It was a customer car, and the manufacturer was in the race also. And the crew chief went to visit the engineer for the manufacturer because they're running the same engine, and came away with an ECU that was kind of turned up than the one that the team had before. So I think this is what Mercedes is doing, that they're keeping their stuff for themselves. We're helping you, right? But that's a big interpretation, but we're not giving you everything type of deal.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. But they're not just them. Ferrari's doing that too. Whoever is developing the engines, that's what they do. They'll give you the package, but they're not going to give you all the secrets of it. So it's like they're giving it to you without the manual. Or if they give you the manual, maybe there are key parts of the manual that are missing, and you have to go figure that out. And they're definitely going to want to do that with a team like McLaren because they could make a good chassis. So you don't want to, you're trying to win. So you're trying to hinder them as best you can for as long as you can, so
legally.
Legally. Yes, this is all legal. This is all legal.
You figure it out. Here's an engine.
Yeah. Here's a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
You go build that wall.
How it was built.
Right. So yeah, it is fair. I mean, like I said last episode, years prior, they would have gotten last season's engine, so they would have been no threat anyway. But if their engineers can figure it out and unlock the car, the potential of that engine, they should be able to challenge as well, So, but I feel it for McLaren. I feel it for both drivers. I feel it a little bit more for Oscar because, yes, this is his second DNF. And the most he can hope for now is he's just trying to see if he's going to try and see if he can beat his teammate. But unless there are DNFs further down,
it's early. It's early. I mean, one race.
Yeah.
Win.
Two races.
No, I'm saying one win gets 25 points.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? The only Mercedes right now is probably going to run away with it until everybody catches up. We saw last year how McLaren was ahead and then Red Bull just slowly caught back up. So it's interesting.
And speaking of that, I mean, Red Bull and Max. I mean, Max obviously showing he's a world champion and that he's he has the measure of Isaac. Isaac is hot, but he got a DNF this race, and Isaac was able to bring his car home. He had that spin earlier on, but he was able to bring his car home in the points at least. So he finished 8th. So I still think so far he's moving in the right direction. Ford just needs to step it up with their power units, to help him out. But anyway, moving on from that, we're gonna move into predictions because we have Japan in 2 weeks, right? So we saw from last week. The only one I got right was Lewis in 3rd. And then no, not Boo Lewis. But
no,
yes,
I boo that you won.
I know. But yeah, so we're gonna do predictions. So Simon, your Japan predictions. What do you think?
I think right now, until another car shows me or another team shows me otherwise, it's gonna be a Mercedes win. So I have George winning next week because I don't think he's going to make the same issues or mistakes twice. I think it's going to be a Ferrari 2nd. My prediction is Charles. And then it's a toss-up between Kimi and Lewis. And I'm just thinking Kimi's confident now. He's got that monkey off his back at his first win. So I'm thinking Kimi's going to come in 3rd.
Okay. Ray?
It's going to be George, Kimi, and there's a toss-up between Lewis and Charles.
So you still think Ferrari's going to be 3rd?
Yeah, because they're still lacking some of that speed.
Okay.
If it's a tight course where there's more corners than straights, then I might change my mind. But there's enough straight there that the Mercedes will be able to stretch their legs. So
okay.
It's Japan, so I can't remember.
They have that big back straight coming down.
Yeah.
You can go full blast on there. You have the front straight coming on the front. You can go full blast on there. There's a little bit of climbing S's that go up, but and then you go to the back underneath. You go to the back underneath the bridge. There's a little blast from there. So, yeah, I think, but the front straight and back straight, Mercedes. If Ferrari hasn't figured out how to fix that delta that they have. It's it's still a track that suits Mercedes.
Yeah. Yes, that track does indeed suit Mercedes. It has its corners, but it has its long straights. And my pick is going to be George to win. Kimi is 2nd, and I'm gonna say Lewis for 3rd.
You think Charles is going to let him take another one?
Charles is not going to let him.
No, Lewis is going to take it.
Yeah. Charles,
that's what he's saying.
Going to let him, but
Lewis is
going to. Okay, I'll say this. Yes, to echo Ray, Lewis is going to take it because what we're seeing now is he's already flexing his muscles to show that, right? And which is what you have to do, right? You have to take it from your teammate because Charles is that good. Right? Charles is that good. So, yeah, I think he's going to take it. And you've already heard him calling saying, hey, I have no power. So if they can iron that out, go ahead.
But Kim Kardashian called and when she called, they fixed the power unit. So that's the reason why he's dating her. You know what I'm saying? But just to add a little, nuance to this. Yeah. So, the front straight, I agree with you, Ray. Mercedes probably going to have a pretty good car and trap speed on the front straight, but then you got the turn 2 through 7, which is kind of an S turns, and or a bunch of chicanes in there. Man, Ferrari's going to be able to catch up on after that front straight.
Yeah, but then having said that, Simon, when they go through for 9 going up to 11, 9, 10, 11, bit of a straight short, but then they come around, they have the 13, they have 11, 12, 13. It's a sweeper, right? You can get into that. And then you go right into when you come to 14, you're going to blast all the way down, you know, down to
It's
15.
gonna be interesting.
It's gonna suit Mercedes.
Yeah,
It's
right.
going to suit Mercedes, and that's why I feel, yeah, you know, that's why I stand by it. I think it's going to be George, because George is, listen, man, George is he has the
champion.
potential for a world champion,
Yeah.
and he can get it this year. You know, he's consistent. He doesn't make mistakes, many at all. So he's coming to take that. So I think it's George, Kimi, and Lewis.
All right.
So having said that, thank you for joining us, everyone. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date on all things the fellas, and to hit the notification bell. We will see you again 2 weeks from today, when we are going to commentate the Grand Prix of Japan. Have a good evening.
Have a great one.